I used to love the smell of my own coffee pot in the morning. Not the fancy Keurig my daughter insisted on buying me last Christmas, but my old mister, coffee that took 5 minutes to brew and made that comforting, gurgling sound. I miss the way sunlight hit my kitchen table through the bay window, creating that perfect reading spot where I'd spend Saturday mornings with the newspaper spread out like a map of the world. I missed the creaky third step on my staircase that I'd learned to skip after 42 years. I missed being home. But that was 6 months ago, before the fall, before the compound fracture that turned my right leg into something resembling a jigsaw puzzle. Before my daughter Claire and her husband Derek convinced me that living alone at 68 was just not practical anymore, Mom. They'd converted their garage into what Claire called a lovely in-law suite. It had its own entrance, a small bathroom, and a kitchenette with a microwave and mini fridge. The walls were painted a cheerful yellow that somehow made me feel more depressed. Through the thin walls, I could hear everything. Derek's alarm at 5:30 a.m., Claire's yoga videos at noon, their arguments about money that always seemed to happen around 10 p.m., just when I was trying to sleep. "It's temporary," Claire had promised, squeezing my hand in the hospital. "Just until you're back on your feet. We want to take care of you." That was February. It was now August. "Morning, Margaret," Derek said, poking his head through my door without knocking. He never knocked. "Need anything?" "I'm heading to work." "I'm fine," I said, pulling the blanket higher even though I was fully dressed. Derek was a hospital administrator at County General, the same hospital where they'd set my leg. He wore expensive suits and had that slick, corporate smile that never quite reached his eyes. Claire had met him at a charity gala 10 years ago and married him 6 months later. I'd had my doubts then. I still had them now. "Claire's got a meeting this morning, so she left early. There's yogurt in your fridge." He checked his watch, a Rolex I knew they couldn't afford on Claire's teacher salary and whatever Derek made. "I'll be late tonight." Board meeting. Another board meeting. That was the third one this week. After he left, I pulled out my laptop. My daughter Sarah, the one who lived in Portland with her wife and 2 kids, had set me up with video calls. We talked every Sunday. "How's the leg, Mom?" Sarah asked, her face pixelated on the screen. "Better. Physical therapy is helping. You look tired." I was tired. Tired of feeling like a guest in my daughter's house. Tired of hearing Claire and Derek argue about cash flow issues and mounting debt. Tired of the way Derek looked at me sometimes, like I was a problem he was trying to solve. "I'm fine, honey. How are the girls?" We talked for an hour. After we hung up, I stared at the stack of mail Claire had brought me yesterday. Most of it was junk, but there was an envelope from Blue Cross Blue Shield that caught my attention. I opened it. Explanation of benefits for services rendered on July 15th. MRI of cervical spine. Patient responsibility. $450. I read it 3 times. July 15th was last Tuesday. I hadn't had an MRI. I hadn't even left the house except for physical therapy on Mondays and Thursdays. My hands started shaking. I'd been an accountant for 37 years before I retired. Numbers were my language, and these numbers were speaking very clearly. Someone had used my insurance for medical services I never received. I pulled out my phone and called the insurance company. After 20 minutes on hold and 3 transfers, I reached a representative named Brenda. "Ma'am, according to our records, you had an MRI at County General Hospital on July 15th at 2 p.m. The claim was submitted by Dr. Robert Morrison. I was home that day. I didn't have any MRI. Are you sure? Sometimes patients forget. I'm 68, not senile. I did not have an MRI. I'll file a fraud investigation report. You should receive a call within 10 business days. 10 business days. I hung up and went through the rest of my mail more carefully. There were 2 more EOBs I'd missed from previous weeks. Physical therapy sessions I never attended. Lab work I never had done. All at County General. All submitted within the last 3 months. I felt cold despite the August heat. That night, I pretended to be asleep when Claire came to check on me. Through barely open eyes, I watched her rifle through my mail on the side table, pull out the Blue Cross envelope, and slip it into her pocket. I lay awake until midnight, listening. At 10:15, right on schedule, the argument started. "We're 3 months behind on the mortgage, Derek. 3 months. The bank sent another letter. I told you. I'm handling it." "How?" "We're barely covering groceries. Your car payment is overdue. And now your mother." "She's not my mother. She's yours." Silence. Then Claire's voice, smaller. "She's family. She's expensive. The medications alone." "Derek, please. I can't do this tonight." "Then when, Claire? When the bank forecloses? When they repossess my car? When your mother needs another surgery?" More silence. Then Derek's footsteps, heavy on the stairs. I got up and went to my laptop. I'd set up online access to all my insurance portals during my accounting days, a habit I'd maintained after retirement. It took me 2 hours, but I found them. 16 fraudulent claims over the past 4 months. MRIs, CT scans, physical therapy, lab work, all at County General Hospital. All submitted with my insurance information. The total billed to insurance, $47,000. My stomach turned. Derek was a hospital administrator. He had access to patient systems, billing codes, scheduling software, and he was drowning in debt. I sat in the dark, thinking about my daughter, my Claire, who used to bring me dandelions and call them sunshine flowers, who became a teacher because she wanted to help children, who cried at animal shelter commercials and volunteered at the food bank every Thanksgiving. Did she know? Or was Derek doing this behind her back? I needed evidence, real evidence, not just insurance statements. The next morning, I asked Claire to take me to Target. "What do you need, Mom?" "I can pick it up for you. I want to get out. Please." I've been staring at these 4 walls for months. She hesitated, then smiled. "Of course. Let me get my keys." At Target, I told her I wanted to browse the book section alone. Instead, I went to electronics and bought the smallest voice recorder I could find. $49. The clerk showed me how to activate it. That evening, I hid the recorder behind the framed photo of my late husband on my dresser, positioned so it would catch any conversation in my small living space. I didn't have to wait long. At 9 p.m., Derek came to my door. "Margaret, can I come in? I need to discuss something." Of course. I was sitting in my recliner, my leg elevated as usual. He sat on the edge of my bed, that corporate smile in place. "How are you feeling? Any pain?" "Some. The physical therapy helps." Good. He smoothed his tie. "Listen, I wanted to talk to you about next steps. Claire and I have been discussing your long-term care options." My heart rate picked up. "Long-term care? Your recovery is taking longer than expected. And, at your age, living independently might not be realistic. We've been looking at some excellent assisted living facilities, very nice places. There's one about 20 minutes from here with a great reputation. I don't need assisted living. My doctor said I'll be fully mobile in another 2 months. Doctors can be optimistic." He leaned forward, his voice gentle, concerned. "We just want what's best for you. And frankly, having you here it's becoming difficult. Claire won't say it, but it's stressful for her. The financial burden, the constant worry." "What financial burden?" "I pay you rent. I buy my own groceries. The modifications we made to the garage, the grab bars in the bathroom, the ramp, it all adds up." He sighed, running a hand through his hair. "Look, I don't want this to sound harsh, but we need our space back. Claire and I want to start a family, and we can't do that with you living here." My mouth went dry. "Claire never mentioned wanting a baby. She doesn't want to upset you. But yes, we've been trying. The doctor says stress might be a factor." He stood up, straightening his jacket. "Just think about it, okay? I can set up some facility tours next week. Some of them are really lovely. 3 meals a day, activities, nurses on staff. You'd probably enjoy it more than being cooped up here." After he left, I sat very still. The recorder had captured everything. The next morning, I called Sarah in Portland. "Mom, it's Wednesday. Is everything okay? I need you to do something for me. Don't tell Claire." I heard the concern in her voice. "What's wrong?" "I need you to call County General Hospital's compliance department and report suspected insurance fraud. Tell them to look at claims submitted under my name and insurance number over the past 4 months. Tell them to specifically look at claims processed by anyone with administrative access." "Mom, what's going on?" "Just trust me." "And Sarah?" "I need you to call them today. Are you safe?" I looked at the thin walls, thought about the recorder, the evidence I was gathering. "For now. But I need to know you have my back, always." I hung up and opened my laptop. Time to do what I did best. Follow the money. Derek had gotten sloppy, or maybe arrogant. The claims all followed a pattern. High-dollar procedures, submitted on days when I couldn't provide an alibi because I was home alone. Always at County General. Always processed through the same billing codes. I pulled up my bank statements next. The rent checks I'd been writing to Claire every month, $500, all deposited into their joint account. Then I noticed something odd. Starting 3 months ago, the same day every month, a withdrawal for $500, cash, from an ATM near Derek's office. He was cashing out my rent money, which meant it wasn't going toward household expenses at all. Where was it going? I spent the next week watching, listening, recording. Derek came home late, 4 nights out of 7. When he did come home, he smelled like perfume, expensive perfume that wasn't Claire's usual lavender scent. Claire looked increasingly exhausted, dark circles under her eyes. She'd lost weight. "Mom, do you need anything?" she asked one evening, standing in my doorway. She looked like she might cry. "Sit with me for a minute?" She hesitated, then sat on the edge of my bed. I could see her hands shaking. "Claire, honey, are you okay?" "I'm fine. Just tired. School starts in 2 weeks, and I'm not ready." "You're always ready. You're the most prepared teacher I know." She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Derek thinks I should quit. Teaching doesn't pay enough, he says. We need more income, or we need to cut expenses." "Is that why he wants me in assisted living?" Her face crumpled. "He showed you the brochures?" "He mentioned it." "Mom, I'm so sorry." I told him no. I told him you're staying as long as you need. But he keeps pushing. She wiped her eyes. "Everything is falling apart. The money, the house, us. I don't know what to do. How bad is it?" She laughed, a broken sound. "We're drowning. The mortgage, his car, credit cards. He says he's getting a raise soon, but it's been soon for 2 years. I don't even know what we owe anymore. He handles all the finances." Red flag number 12. I'd been counting. "Have you looked at the bank statements?" He says it's too stressful for me, that I should focus on teaching and let him handle the money. "Claire, you're a grown woman. You have a right to know." I know. But every time I bring it up, we fight. And I'm so tired of fighting. After she left, I made a decision. I called my old friend, Patricia. We'd worked together at the accounting firm for 20 years before she made partner and I retired. "Maggie, how's the leg?" "Healed enough to get into trouble." "Pat, I need a favor. Can you run a background check on someone? Officially or unofficially? Let's call it a professional curiosity. Give me the name. Derek William Morrison, age 43. Hospital administrator at County General." I heard typing. What am I looking for? Anything, everything. Financial records, criminal history, social media, past employers. I have a bad feeling. Give me 48 hours. Those 48 hours felt like 48 years. I kept my recorder running. I collected every piece of mail before Claire could intercept it. I documented everything in a password-protected spreadsheet. Dates, times, conversations, amounts, patterns. Patricia called back on Friday morning. "Maggie, where are you? Are you safe?" My blood ran cold. "What did you find?" "Your son-in-law has quite the history. 2 previous marriages, both ended in divorce, filed for bankruptcy in 2015, 3 outstanding warrants for unpaid child support in Nevada, and here's the kicker. He's currently under investigation by County General's internal audit team for suspicious billing practices. I closed my eyes. How suspicious? Suspicious enough that they brought in external auditors last month. I have a contact in hospital administration. Word is, someone's been submitting false claims using patient information. They're trying to figure out who before they involve law enforcement. It's him. I have the evidence. Then you need to go to the police. Today, not yet. I need to make sure Claire is protected. Maggie, she doesn't know Pat. I'm sure of it. If I report him now, she gets dragged into it. I need to do this right. That evening, I asked Claire to take me to the bank. I want to add you to my savings account, just in case something happens to me. We sat across from a banker named Jennifer. I handed over my ID and account information. Mrs. Brennan, you have $127,000 in this account. Are you sure you want to add a joint owner? Claire's eyes widened. Mom, that's your retirement money. I can't. Hush. You're my daughter. I trust you. I looked at Jennifer. But I'd like to set it up so that large withdrawals require both signatures. Is that possible? Absolutely. We can set any limits you'd like. I set the limit at $5,000. Anything above that needed both of us to sign. I watched Claire's face as Jennifer processed the paperwork. Relief, gratitude, and underneath it all, fear. Mom, you don't have to do this. I want to. You're going to need it. She started crying in the parking lot. Is it that bad? Do you think Derek and I are going to divorce? I held her hand. I think you need to protect yourself, honey. And I think you need to look at your bank statements. All of them. Tonight. He'll be angry. Let him be angry. It's your money, too. That night, I heard the biggest fight yet. Claire's voice, stronger than I'd heard it in months. Where is my mother's rent money going, Derek? I told you, household expenses. $500 cash? Every month? Show me. Show me the expenses. Claire, you're being paranoid. Then show me the bank statements. All of them. Right now. It's 11 p.m. I'm not doing this. Yes, you are. Because I went to the bank today. I looked at our accounts. And you know what I found? Nothing. We should have at least $6,000 from my mother's rent alone. Where is it? Silence. Derek. Where is my mother's rent money? I had some expenses. Business expenses. What business expenses? Client dinners, work clothes, networking. We're 3 months behind on the mortgage, and you're buying suits? You don't understand how my industry works. Then explain it to me. Explain why we're drowning in debt while you're wearing a Rolex and driving a BMW. I'm done with this conversation. No, you're not. Sit down. We're going through every single transaction. I fell asleep listening to them argue. When I woke up at 3 a.m., the house was silent. In the morning, Claire came to my room. Her eyes were red, but her jaw was set. Mom, I need to ask you something, and I need you to be honest. Have you received any weird mail? Medical bills for procedures you didn't have? My heart raced. Why do you ask? Because I found something. In Derek's office, insurance statements. In your name. Her voice broke. Please tell me you had those procedures. Please tell me he didn't. I didn't have them, Claire. She sat down hard on my bed. Oh my God. Oh my God. He's been committing insurance fraud. Using your information. How much? Around $47,000 so far. She put her face in her hands. When she looked up, she was angry. Did you know? How long have you known? About 3 weeks. And you didn't tell me? I needed to be sure. I needed evidence. And I needed to protect you. Protect me? Mom, I'm married to a criminal. You didn't know. That's what the evidence will show. I've been documenting everything. Dates, times, conversations. I have recordings of him admitting to financial problems, pushing for assisted living, lying about expenses, and I've already reported the insurance fraud to the compliance department." She stared at me. "You what?" "I reported it. They're investigating. It's only a matter of time before they trace it back to Derek." "When?" "Last week." "And you didn't tell me?" "I wanted you to have plausible deniability. When they come asking questions, you can honestly say you didn't know." She started laughing, a slightly hysterical sound. "My 68-year-old mother just ran a covert investigation into my husband, and I had no idea. I was an accountant for 37 years, honey. I know how to follow money." The laughter turned into tears. I held her while she cried. "What do I do now?" "You call a divorce lawyer today, and you file before the criminal charges hit." "Criminal charges?" "Insurance fraud is a felony. When they investigate, they're going to find everything. The false claims, the billing manipulation, all of it. If you file for divorce now, you can protect yourself financially. Otherwise, you'll be liable for his legal fees and restitution." She wiped her eyes. "I married a criminal. You married a liar. There's a difference. You're not responsible for his choices." That afternoon, while Derek was at work, Claire and I went through his home office. We found everything. Burner phone with texts to a woman named Jessica, credit card statements showing expensive dinners, hotel rooms, gifts, and in the bottom drawer, a file marked insurance processing with copies of my EOBs and handwritten notes about procedure codes and billing amounts. Claire photographed everything with her phone. At 2 p.m., Derek came home. Claire was waiting in the living room. The divorce papers she'd had expedited sitting on the coffee table. "What's this?" He picked up the papers, his face darkening. "I'm filing for divorce." "Claire, don't be dramatic. I know about the insurance fraud. I know about Jessica. I know about the bankruptcy you hid from me. I know everything." His face went pale. "Your mother put this in your head. My mother saved me from being an accessory to your crimes. The hospital compliance department is investigating you. The FBI fraud division has been notified, and I've already filed a police report about you using her insurance information without consent. You can't prove anything." I wheeled myself into the doorway. "Actually, she can. We have bank statements, insurance records, your notes about billing codes, text messages, and recordings of you admitting to financial problems and trying to coerce me into assisted living to cover up your crimes." Derek's corporate smile had completely vanished. He looked at me with something close to hatred. "You senile old bitch. This is your fault. If you hadn't been such a burden, if I hadn't been here, you would have found another victim. This is who you are." He lunged toward me. Claire stepped between us, her phone up, recording. "Touch her, and I call 911 right now." He stopped, breathing hard. "You'll regret this. Both of you." "No," Claire said quietly. "I regret marrying you. I regret trusting you. But I'll never regret protecting my mother. Where am I supposed to go? That's not my problem. You have 1 hour to pack a bag. After that, the locks are changed and you're trespassing." He grabbed his keys and wallet, shooting me one last venomous look before slamming out the door. Claire collapsed onto the couch, shaking. "What have I done?" "You've protected yourself, and you've done the right thing. I loved him, Mom." "I know, honey, I know." The FBI came 3 days later. 2 agents in dark suits, badges gleaming. They interviewed me for 4 hours, going through every document, every recording, every piece of evidence I'd collected. "Mrs. Brennan, you've just handed us one of the most well-documented fraud cases I've seen in 20 years, Agent Martinez said. "Your son-in-law billed insurance companies for over $60,000 in false claims. Most people don't catch this until years later. I was an accountant. Numbers are my language." "Well, your language just bought you and your daughter protection from prosecution, and it's going to put Derek Morrison in federal prison." Agent Chen closed her notebook. "One question, though. Why didn't you report this the moment you discovered it? I needed to protect my daughter. I needed to make sure she had a paper trail showing she knew nothing about his crimes. If I'd reported it immediately, she would have been implicated. Smart thinking. Maternal instinct. Derek was arrested at the hospital 2 weeks later. The charges: insurance fraud, identity theft, theft by deception, and filing false documents. The hospital's internal audit had found additional victims, 3 other patients whose information he'd used over the past year. Total fraudulent billings, over $200,000. The local news covered his arrest. Hospital administrator charged in massive insurance fraud scheme. His mugshot was everywhere. Claire stopped reading the news after the first day. How did I not see it? She asked me that night. We were sitting in what used to be my converted garage, drinking tea, because he was good at hiding, and because you wanted to believe the best of him. I'm such an idiot. You're human, and you're kind. Those aren't weaknesses, Claire. They feel like weaknesses right now. I took her hand. You know what's not a weakness? Standing up for what's right, filing for divorce, protecting yourself and your family. That takes courage. She squeezed my hand. I couldn't have done it without you. Yes, you could have. You just needed time to see the truth. The divorce was finalized in November. Derek's attorney tried to go after Claire's assets, but the evidence was clear. She'd known nothing about his crimes and had filed for divorce the day she found out. She kept the house, her savings, and her dignity. Derek pleaded guilty to avoid trial. He got 6 years in federal prison and $100,000 in restitution payments. His face was all over the medical fraud awareness websites, a cautionary tale about the people we trust with our healthcare information. Sarah flew out for Thanksgiving. She helped me pack up my things from the garage suite. Where are you going, Mom? Claire asked, her voice small. I put a deposit on a condo. Small, 2 bedrooms, first floor. There's a grocery store walking distance and a library across the street. I move in next week. You're leaving? Honey, you need your space, and I need mine. I've been a guest in your house for almost a year. It's time for both of us to rebuild our lives, but I don't want you to go. I'm 20 minutes away. We'll have dinner every Sunday, and you can stay over whenever you want. I'm getting a pull-out couch for the 2nd bedroom. She hugged me tight. I'm sorry I didn't protect you. You did protect me. The moment you saw the truth, you acted. That's all anyone can ask. We ate Thanksgiving dinner in Claire's house, just the 3 of us. Sarah made her famous pumpkin pie. Claire cooked a turkey. I brought my grandmother's stuffing recipe. We didn't talk about Derek. We talked about Claire's students, about Sarah's daughters and their upcoming dance recital, about my new condo and the book club I joined. After dinner, Claire handed me an envelope. What's this? Open it. Inside was a check for $6,000. Claire, I can't. It's your rent money, the money Derek stole from you. I've been saving every paycheck since September. It's not the full amount, but it's a start. Keep it. Use it to pay down the mortgage. Mom, please, let me do this. I looked at my daughter, my strong, brave, recovering daughter, and I took the check. Thank you. No, thank you. For everything. For being smarter than all of us. For protecting me. For teaching me that family means fighting for each other, not against each other. I moved into my condo the first week of December. It was small, but it was mine. My coffee pot had its own counter. My books had their own shelves. My life was my own again. On Christmas Eve, my phone rang. Unknown number. Hello? Mrs. Brennan? This is Jessica Chen from the FBI. I wanted to give you an update. Derek Morrison's case helped us uncover a larger fraud ring operating in 3 states. Because of your evidence and your testimony, we've made 7 additional arrests. You may be called to testify at trial. I'll be there. Mrs. Brennan, I also wanted to say thank you. Most victims of elder financial abuse never report. They're too ashamed or too scared. You weren't just brave, you were methodical. You built a case. You protected yourself and your daughter. And you helped us catch someone who would have kept victimizing people for years. After she hung up, I stood at my window, looking out at the snow falling on my small porch, my winter flowers in their pots, my welcome mat that said, "Home, sweet home." I thought about the woman I'd been 6 months ago, lying in a hospital bed with a shattered leg, afraid and dependent. I thought about the woman I was now, living independently, having survived betrayal and rebuilt trust. My phone buzzed. A text from Claire. "Hot chocolate tomorrow? My place?" I texted back. "I'll bring the marshmallows." I'd learned something important in those hard months. Family isn't about obligation or guilt or burden. It's about showing up when it matters. It's about protecting each other. It's about having the courage to see the truth and the strength to act on it. Derek had tried to make me disappear, to warehouse me in assisted living so he could keep stealing. He'd seen me as weak, as easy prey, as an old woman who wouldn't fight back. He'd underestimated me completely, and that mistake cost him everything.